I'm going to show you how to enter a scatter plot into your TI-84. So why don't we start off with make sure you have your calculator out and on. And I'm just at the home screen. So on this list of actions here, it says enter the stat editor. That means the stat button. So on your calculator, the stat button is right next to the X key. It's right below the delete key. This brings you to the stat menu. Okay, now we are going to select edit to input data into the lists. So we're going to go to stat and we're going to go to edit. Edit number 1 is up there. You can type the number 1 or you can just hit enter. My lists are empty. If my list had something in it, let's say I had a 5 and a 6 in list 1, maybe you have some data in there from a previous class. You can clear out the list. It says here there's several ways to do it. I can show you some different ways, but the easiest way is to go up to list 1. Now I'm in list 1, and I'm just going to hit clear and enter, and everything goes away. Okay. It is important that you do not, or you can delete them out individually, but do not delete the list. That would be a bad thing. If you don't have L1 because somebody incorrectly deleted before, I can fix your calculator for you. And you can use different lists as well. Okay, so we're going to enter some data into list 1, and then we're going to enter some data into list 2. So this is going to be like your X coordinates in L1 and your Y coordinates in L2. So they've got a very basic list here. Just there, 1, enter, 2, enter. I'm putting ordered pairs in, doesn't matter what they are. 3, enter, maybe 4, enter. I'm just putting in some basic stuff. Looks like they went with 3, 4, 5, 6. Very important that you understand that if you're going to be doing scatter plots, these are XY coordinates that you have to have a point. Every X has to have a Y, otherwise it won't work. So we have successfully entered into L1 and L2. Okay. Next, it says we are going to go to the stat plot. Stat plot is found up above the Y equals. So I'm going to hit second stat plot. That's the Y equals key. Second stat plot. Currently, all my plots are off. Okay. So I'm going to select plot 1 by hitting enter. I'm going to turn it on by hitting enter. I can scroll down. This would be, we want to make sure that our scatter plot is the first one. The line graph is the second. There's a bar graph. There's a box and whisker with some outliers. There's a box and whisker. And then, I don't know, what is that one over there? I can't tell. Step function, maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, and then this is the defaults. If your calculator has been changed, you may have to change them. We want to make sure that our L1 is our X's. That's where we typed our X's. If you need to change that, you can see in blue down here under the number 1 is L1, 2 is L2. You would hit second and whichever key you want. So if you put a XY list in L3 and L4, this is where you would change that. And then it's a box. You can do whatever you want. You can have a box or a plus or a block or a dot. And mine are blue. You don't, if you have an older calculator, you don't have color options. But now my plot is on. Okay. This went through making sure we're on scatter plot, and then it went through the types of lists. Okay. Let's see what's next. How come I can't get to next? Okay. Isn't there another page? I'm sure there's another page. Page 3 of 3. Oh, I got there. Okay. Just never a doubt. Okay, now we want to press plot by hitting the graph. And remember, we talked about different, so your graph might look different. So if you were back at, I just hit zoom, and if you were back at zoom standard, number 6, there's my 1, 3, 2, 4, and so on and so forth. You might have to change your window. If all your data points are not visible, you can set a window manually using window key. We've done that before. Okay, window, I could go change. And in this case, maybe I want to change to 0 to 10 counting by ones and 0 to 10 counting by ones. Now my graph is kind of that quadrant 1. Okay. You can also, now since we can go to a special zoom in, we could hit zoom stat, which is number 9, and it brings in, it makes sure that it captures all of your points. When we look at the window, it's a little bit funky, so sometimes we like to just come back here and say, well, instead of 0.7, let's go 0, and then I'm going to go 5. Instead of 2.49, I'm going to go 2, and instead of 6, I'm going to go 7. And now when we look at it again, it's there, but now we have real points there. Again, you could manually change your window. You can zoom stat. What happens now when you go back and you want to enter a y equals mx plus b? Remember, you can always get back to the basic standard window. Number 6 is there. Okay, so whenever you want to get out of something, second mode gets you quit. So to recap, I want to go to stat. I want to go to edit. I want to set up my stat plot, second y equals. This is where we turn them on and off. Also, you can turn them on and off just by going to y equals, because now maybe I need to enter a value, and I can do that. Okay, so basic way to put a stat plot in. Next thing we'll do is linear regression equations, but more on that after a bit.